All right, hello everyone. Welcome back. Today a little different. I'm not going to be showing you a video of a mission or the aircraft flying or a walk around. Instead, I'm going to concentrate on some of the equipment you see me wear in the videos, as well as some of the aircraft or equipment on the aircraft. So starting off, I've got my vest. If you look in any of the videos, you'll always see me wear this. This is what is called an ALSE vest. ALSE is A-L-S-E, or Aircraft Life Support Equipment. It's kind of a sub-trade in the Canadian Forces. We have ALSE techs, 3 of them here, and they work on these vests. They work on this basic kit, which is kind of a survival kit. They work on packing life rafts and other things. They started their life out in the Canadian Forces as aircraft structures technicians, and then they move on to becoming ALSE techs. It's kind of a specialized sub-trade. Like I said, we got 3 of them aboard here, and today they made me this. This is a training vest. So everything in here is designed to be taken apart, put back together. A lot of the stuff that's in these pockets is expired. None of it will be used operationally. It's just used for training and will eventually be recycled or disposed of. Everything has an expiry date, and most of this stuff is expired or already worn past operational limits. So without ado, let's see what's inside one of these. So we'll start off with just one of these random pockets. I always wear this, and the story behind this, or I guess the theory is, we can have a lot of survival equipment and everything aboard this aircraft, but if we crash or if we set down and there's a fire or something happens that we quickly get out of the aircraft, I may only have what's on me, or what's in this vest, which is on me. A lot of the other fancier gear on this aircraft may not come with me or may just burn up in the fire. So let's see. Well, in here we have a field dressing. This is like a big giant Band-Aid. I don't even know if I can open it. There it is. Again, this is expired or ruined. So this is just first aid stuff. Ubiquitous in the Canadian Forces. We have a lot of these. It's just a big old bandage. Comes with a bit of a wrap. You can do a lot with these, and this goes on for several feet. Just a big old Band-Aid. I don't know if you can see it there. Just kind of looks like that. It is not hermetically sealed, but it's sterile. That's the word I'm looking for. So it's sterile. First aid, cool. This pocket, I'll get to that pocket later. What's in the next pocket? It's kind of like exciting. It's sort of like a Christmas stocking, if you will. Rope. This is called paracord. So this rope is kind of specialized. It is rated towards obscene amount of weight before it breaks. I think like 550 pounds. It's also called 550 cord. The strange advantage of it is it's sealed at both ends, but if you were to cut this, there is several strands inside. I don't know if I have scissors or a knife. Yeah, so like I was saying in this rope, if you were to cut this, you can actually see, I think there's some 7 strands. Let's see if I can focus here. It's a little harder, but there's 2, 4, 7 strands. One's got fancy lighting inside. So if you needed to build something, say it's a survival shelter of some sort, and you've only got limited rope, by taking it apart and sort of stripping it, a little easier said than done, but you can pull these individual pieces of string out, and you could do this in several feet long. You could basically have 8 times as much rope. And this by itself is good to probably at least 100 pounds. So unless you need to really support your own weight, you can just take this rope apart and have all sorts of little tiny bit strands and have a lot more rope to build your shelter or signal or whatever it is you're trying to do. But yeah, rope. Rope is very useful in any sort of survival situation. Moving along, chapstick. You may end up in a sunny place. You may end up in the Arctic where it's quite sunny, and nothing sucks more than having chapped lips. This can also be used as a fuel for a fire. This is probably somewhat flammable. You might be able to burn it. I don't know. Anyways, chopstick. I won't take this one apart. This is brass wire. You can use this to make snares. So even where I live, in my backyard, if I were to set up a snare to catch a hare, I'd probably have one by sundown. In certain parts of Canada, there are a lot of hares or rabbit, and they can be readily caught overnight. So you just set up a snare, takes 20, 30 minutes if you know what you're doing, and you could have yourself supper. I've done it before during some of my survival training. Every pilot in the Canadian Forces, or every aircrew rather, has to go survival training. And the final part of that is undergoing 4 days and 3 nights in the field by yourself with just basic bare bones survival gear, basically this, plus a sleeping bag just to make life a little easier. And when I was out there by myself, I actually set this up and I caught myself a rabbit. I skinned it and I ate it, and it was amazing because they don't give you food for those 4 days. This is, I'm not going to undo this, this is just your standard reflective sort of emergency blanket. Yeah, I'm not going to take that apart, that'll make a mess. But very, very handy stuff. Can also be used for signals, can also be used for waterproofness if you're building a shelter. Moving along, ooh, this thing. This is a fire starting device. It's been a while since I used one of these. I prefer lighters. But the gist of it, let's see. All right, just show you how this thing works. There it is. Outside. I'm not doing this by an aircraft, but simple as that. The nice thing about something like this is it is completely waterproof. It can just survive anywhere for forever. You know, you could pick this out of the bottom of a lake and it'd work it. It's fine. It's just a big old piece of flint and a striker. I'll show you kind of how it works on the inside. So there's your flint. Let's see if I get a bit of a darker background for you. And there's a striker kind of built into there. Yeah, kind of a cool device. Starting fire, one of the most important things. Speaking of which, here's another fire starting kit. It is fire starting aviation grade. All it is a very similar device. You know, you got a method to start flint, as well as these are fuel impregnated sort of cotton. These will light up very, very easily. And you can start a fire with this. Again, this is fairly resistant to moisture and water, and it can stay in your pocket for forever and work. What's next in my pocket of goodness? More fire stuff. Waterproof matches. I'm not going to light a match in here. We're beside an aircraft. Not worth it. And then the last thing in this pocket is a standard fishing kit. In Canada, there's a lot of lakes and rivers, an abundance of them. In fact, you can look up on a map and almost anywhere in Canada, and you'll be very, very close to some sort of a small pond, lake, river, or other water feature. And wherever there's water, there's generally fish around here. So in here, we have fishing gear. Let's see if I can just tilt you a bit more. What is this? Well, fishing tin. This is just little safety pins, leads, some buttons actually, some lead weights, other fishing stuff. I'm not a fisherman by trade. Lures, you know. Nice thing about fish around here is they are cold water fish, so they should have a lot of fat on them, which will help for survival. And red felt. I never understood the reason for this red felt for the longest time, and then someone explained it to me. It can help you grab the fish, but also you can use it as a lure. If you lose everything else, red felt on a hook, I guess, can attract some fish. I don't know how true that is. If any of you know better than me about why you would include red felt in emergency fishing kit, let me know. I would love to find out. As with all things in life, once you take it apart and out of the box, you can't quite get it back in the way it came. So that's fishing gear, super, super handy to have. So that's that pocket. In the next pocket, we have some glow sticks. These are expired, of course. And you can see the packaging is all coming apart. And that's probably why it gets expired. It just comes apart. It's all falling. There's black stuff in there, but it's kind of hard to see, but this is a glow stick. It glows, and it's got a protective case. Why you would need a protective case, I'm not sure. Maybe if you're a fighter pilot and there's some people hunting you, but it's just a specialty glow stick that's kind of coming apart, actually. Well, I guess that's why it's expired. I don't know if you can see all the black stuff that's in there. I guess the cap is coming apart. But yeah, kind of a cool glow stick. It's on a rope, you know. I don't know. Easy to use, lights up. At nighttime, you could set this up inside an igloo, a tent, any sort of shelter, and it'll just keep a bit of light, which helps with morale, I guess. Gives you a bit of hope. Humans love light. So that was that pocket. Moving along. Going to here. Classic compass. Super handy to use. If you don't know how to use one of these, I strongly recommend, if you're planning on going on the outdoors, learn how to use a compass. GPSs, cell phones, all that can die. The Mighty Compass seems to last forever. This is a pretty advanced one. It's tied on a string, so I can't lose it. As well, this is a very fancy, I'll show you down here. You can see it's all kind of ruined. Like I said, this is expired gear, but this is a mirror. And with a mirror, I'll show you in the camera, you can signal. This is surprisingly good on a sunny day at attracting aircraft. We've done this testing, and I mean, you're talking miles away. If you know what you're doing and know how to use one of these, you can signal an aircraft on a sunny day and they will see you. And you just do that, just like I am right now. Now, to know if it's hitting or not, you would kind of put your fingers and you'd line it up. Oh, mamma mia. You'd kind of line it up like that and put the aircraft between your two fingers and then just flash. And it works. We've tried it when we were doing training. It works quite nicely. Again, it's all tied on a string so I don't lose it when I'm running around like a fool. Up here is, you get a lot of these. It's just a strobe light. This lasts for many hours. You can see this from far away. So when it's not sunny and you can't use your signal mirror, or it's dark, you can just use this guy. Again, on a string, so you don't lose it. Generally, pilots and aircrew were the types of kids you had to keep mitts on a string for because they would lose them. So as they grew up, they still had to tie everything on a string for them. That's those two pockets. That was that one. On the inside, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more pockets. In this one, we have drugs. Ibuprofen, isopropyl alcohol, that's a disinfectant. Ibuprofen is an non-steroid, anti-inflammatory, NSAID. And then more bandages. As you can see, some of these bandages expired in 2022. They're useful for training. In the back pocket, what do we have? Instruction manual in both official languages in Canada. for land and sea emergencies. This is actually pretty good. If you ever didn't know how to survive, you could read this, and it gives you all sorts of useful tips as to how to survive. It's really actually good. Beverage survival rations from 2020. Basically, no name brand sort of flavor crystals. Gives you sugar, carbohydrates, helps you absorb moisture. This is a bug net. I don't know if you can see kind of the picture there. It goes over your head and it'll keep all sorts of mosquitoes, black flies, horse flies, all that stuff out of your face. In northern Canada, say northern Ontario, northern Quebec, northern Manitoba, basically any province or territory, in the summertime, the bugs get exceptionally bad. It'll drive you insane. And when it gets dark, you almost need earplugs to help sleep because of the droning sound of all the insects around you. If you went down up there and you didn't have this, oh, you'd have a really, really bad time. It would be enough to drive you insane, like literally. Moving along. These are, I'm not even going to pronounce it, but pure tabs, or purification tablets. So you got a bunch of water. You don't know if it's good or not. Again, in Canada, a lot of the lakes and ponds and whatnot have Giardia or Cryptosporidium. I think that's the name of it. Several pathogens that are found in the water that can upset your stomach quite a bit and lead to diarrhea. So you put these tabs in there. It purifies the water, kills all sorts of pathogens that might be in there, and allows you to drink it safely. It might taste like pool water, but beggars can't be choosers. How do you collect the water? Ziploc bags. There's a bunch of Ziploc bags. That's cool. Never know when you need a bag. Again, those are the pure tabs. So I guess you'd put a pure tab in a Ziploc bag. All this stuff can also be used if you find yourself in a life raft, i.e. the fishing kit, the bags to collect rainwater. Pure tabs will not work to get salt out of the water. Oh, last pocket. You guys excited? I am. These suckers. These are aviation candies, or these are so expired. I'm going to open them up. Let's see how many calories are in these things. Per 4 pieces, you get 160 calories. So each piece has 40 calories, if my math is right. These are, again, really expired, but I actually really like these. These are giant jujubes. Calories, keeps you going, pure sugar. Important thing to remember is you need to have water to help consume calories. If you found yourself without water, I believe it's recommended not to consume calories. So that's all those pockets. And if you give me a second, I'll show you what's actually in the other ones. All right, so I'm back. This is an actual, real operational vest. What's also there in addition is this guy right here. This is an EBS, or emergency breathing system. Scuba people might call it a pony bottle. This got compressed air. It can give you a couple minutes depending on how quickly you're breathing. So again, if you find yourself upside down in an aircraft, in the water, or in the helicopter, you can put this in your mouth, give you a bit of air, and make your egress out of the helicopter and to the surface of the water. We practice this in a pool, a special pool in Halifax every 2 years. This goes in your mouth. I'm not going to do it because this is someone else's vest. And there's a big cylinder right here that's got compressed air. And then the other thing we have is pyrotechnics. This is a signal device. One side creates smoke, and the other side creates a flare. You would unscrew it, pull it, and watch the show Lots and lots of red smoke it creates. Very good for kind of rising out of the trees. So if you find yourself buried in the trees and there's a chopper overhead, it should be able to see the smoke. Other things you might see from time to time as well is this. This is very much like that striker thing you saw. This is just a big old piece of magnesium and some flint on the side of it. So yeah, there's the flint and there's magnesium. And what you could do is scrape off a bunch of magnesium into a nice little pile, and then you strike it with the flint, and it'll eventually catch on fire and burn. And if you've got some very, very dry tinder, it should work. I'm not going to do it inside the hangar. But in the field, we practice it all the time, and it works quite well. Again, the advantage of that over, say, a Bic lighter or something is that can stay in your pocket for forever. It gets soaking wet, get crushed. It's just a piece of metal. It's not going to break very easily, as opposed to those very fancy lighters you see on TV. Yeah, that's about it. Cool. And the last and most important about this vest is what's around my neck. Again, this is a training device. It's not an operational one. So you have here what we like to call, if I can show you, they're right here. They're called prayer beads, is what they're colloquially referred to as, because you find them, you pull them, and you pray it works. In this case, it did. Here we have our flotation device. Isn't that cool? So once you make the surface of the water, pull these guys down, you could float like this. You could also manually inflate it or manually deflate it through these valves. So there, we're deflating it a little. You get to deflate one of the bladders. There's two bladders in here. One is inflated by that canister you saw. And then the other one you can manually inflate. Yeah. That's the RCAF vest.